Hi, I'm Mrs. Baisden.
Hi, I'm Mr. Wells, and we are your conceptual chemistry teachers.
So this is our classroom. You can see we have a nice big space where we can spread out. One person per table. We'll have some people sitting at some of the lab stations. We brought some extra desks in. We have a hand sanitizing station in the front here. We'll have another one in the back of the room. This is where our assignments will be posted on a daily basis, and these will be the same that get posted for our remote learners. All of the tables and desks will have a number on them, so you'll have a number associated with where you sit. That also goes with which Chromebook you use to try to minimize some of the contact there. When we do labs, we'll do labs a little different this year. We'll only have 2 people working together at a time, of course, always wearing masks. So it'll take us a few more days to get through a lab where we'll kind of shift what one group is doing while one group is in lab, and then flip whatever those activities are. As far as equipment goes, we will sanitize all that equipment after it's used before the next group goes in. So we have lots of measures in place so that everybody will be safe while they're at school. So we all know this year is going to be a little bit different than most years. So one of the first things we wanted to talk about were some of the safety measures that we put in place. So obviously we'll have our masks on at all times when we're in the building, lots of sanitizing. Like you saw in our classroom tour, there's an assigned seat number, Chromebook number, and then half the class will come in and out the front door, and then the other half of the class will come in and out of the back door. Also, there'll be no food, no eating in the classroom, so if you need to eat something, you'll have to do that somewhere else, but you are allowed to bring a refillable water bottle. This is an overview of the syllabus, so you'll get a little more detailed version in class that we'll go over. You can see that the materials we'll go over on the next slide. The grades are based on percentages, so it's kind of an even percentage distribution between all the things that we would do. The course information is listed there. Our emails are listed there again. We don't have a text that we hand out, but the reference text that we use is listed. Google Classroom codes are there, so if you want to go ahead and join those, you can. If not, we will do that in class. But one of the most important things that we wanted to talk about is that chemistry can be challenging. Conceptual chemistry is the concept of chemistry without all the math. So we don't have to worry about the math necessarily getting in the way of understanding. We are going to focus on the concepts, how chemistry relates to things that we might see in our daily lives. But if you are having trouble, you're becoming overwhelmed, please make sure that you talk to us and you ask us questions. This is a team talk class, so there are 2 teachers in this classroom that you can ask. If the way I explain it doesn't make sense, Mr. Wells can explain it in a different way. There are different ways that we can present material. So if the first time through something, you just aren't really getting what's happening, then ask us and say, hey, that did not make sense. Can you try something else? We're both very patient. We will answer as many questions as you have. So the more questions that you ask, the better. Materials that you need for this course, hopefully you have a lot of this already from last year. You should have a calculator either from middle school or from your math class last year. If you are purchasing one, I would suggest the TI calculators. Those are just a little bit easier to use. You do need a 3-ring binder because we will give you note packets, so you want to have somewhere to put those. Pens and pencils, a Sharpie marker we would use in lab. Highlighter, we will do some readings where you might highlight some things. Colored pencils or pens, some people like to color code their notes. We'll do some color coding things when we get to the periodic table. Earbuds are recommended because you might have some activity where you have to listen to something on the computer. And then Kleenex is not required, but it's always appreciated because that's something that we do run out of very quickly. So for our units of study, our first semester, we're going to focus on kind of building the foundation for chemistry. And then second semester, we'll look at a little more application type things. Finally, we wanted to talk about Google Classroom, and even though we are in class, we're still going to do that because that keeps our remote students in sync with our in-person students, and that also gets us used to the platform in case we would go remote at some point. You would already be familiar with how to use that. So again, these are our classroom codes. Feel free to go ahead and set that up. If not, we will do that the first day of school. All right, that's all we have for now. We look forward to seeing you next week. If you have any questions or concerns, send us an email or give us a call, and we are happy to talk to you.